video, we're going to talk about how you can align your culture with your strategy. This is actually the key to creating a thriving workplace culture that gets you results. You're going to learn about how strategy is crucial to creating your culture and also how culture is crucial to driving your strategy. You cannot have one without the other. By the end of this video, you'll not only learn about how you can create a strategy and culture that are aligned, but you will also understand the compounding benefit of having those two intertwined. Culture alone is not going to get you results, and strategy alone is not going to get you results. So this video is going to talk about how you can get those two driving each other. Aligning culture and strategy is my favorite topic to talk about because so often people focused on culture fail to realize how important strategy is in determining the kind of culture that they need. I am culture agnostic. I do not have an opinion about the right kind of culture or the best kind of culture. I don't have a silver bullet for anyone. What I do have is a tool that you can use to determine the best culture for your organization. For example, I've worked at large technology companies that are in the Fortune 100, and I've also worked at small startup organizations. The cultures at those two companies were wildly different, but the culture that worked at one would not have worked at the other, and vice versa. Why? Because their strategy was so different, and culture needs to drive strategy in order to be successful. Peter Drucker famously said that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and he was absolutely right. What he meant by that is that strategy without culture in mind does nothing. A strategy could be a really brilliant piece of paper that gets put on a shelf and never touched again. It won't drive results. Culture is the way that you get results. But the same is true the other way around. Culture without strategy, I would argue that strategy eats culture for breakfast too, which means that if you have a thriving culture but no clear strategy, then that culture is directionless and ultimately people may be happy, but they're not going to get results. So we're going to talk about how to align your strategy and your culture to not only drive results, but improve employee fulfillment and organizational fulfillment. According to Forbes, when a company's strategy and culture are aligned, that can increase profit by up to 17%. This works. And we're going to talk about the 3 things that you need to do in order to make sure that your strategy and your culture are aligned. And also, it's important to remember that you don't have to be the CEO to make a difference in your strategy or your culture. Every team within an organization has their own subculture, and every team within an organization also has their own sub-strategy. So as a leader of any size team within an organization, you can ensure that there is alignment between your team's strategy and your team's culture, even if the organization overall isn't doing that. It'll help give your employees direction, and it'll help your team achieve results. Now, before I share with you the 3 things that you need to keep in mind in order to align your strategy and your culture, I have other videos that do a deeper dive on just strategy or just culture, and the links are below in the description. So go ahead and check those out if you're looking for a deeper dive. If you want your culture to activate your strategy, then first let's get clear on what strategy includes. The first thing you must do to align culture and strategy is to identify your purpose. Your purpose is your why. It's the thing that inspires employees to wake up every morning and be eager to start their work. It's the thing that will impact the world because the organization existed. It's how you make a difference. It's the meaning that this organization holds. Having a clear purpose can help drive behavior by getting everyone aligned in the same direction. So first, clarify your purpose. And you do that by creating a simple purpose statement, or it's often referred to as a mission statement, which ideally would be no longer than 6 words. Our purpose, for example, is to unleash the power of your culture. Everyone at Culture Partners understands that purpose and they're passionate about it. So getting clear on your purpose is the first step in creating your strategy. The second step in creating your strategy is understanding where you're going. What is your vision and how will you know when you've gotten there? That means creating a vision statement, but also the metric that you will use to measure whether or not you have achieved your vision. Now, the purpose is timeless. It exists for the entirety of your organization's existence. But your vision can be maybe 3 or 5 years into the future. Something that is within arm's reach, something that your employees know that they can help accomplish. Then you have to determine your strategic anchors. The strategic anchors are typically the 3 big bets you're making on what will help you achieve that vision in an effort to live your purpose. And those strategic anchors should span multiple teams. It's not a strategic anchor if it's a team like product development or marketing or sales. Those are functions. Strategic anchors are decisions that you make about how we will win that marketing and sales and product development can all embrace and execute on. Now, the last thing you have to do in defining your strategy is to make sure that your strategic anchors also have metrics. Those metrics need to be meaningful, they need to be measurable, and they need to be memorable. Your team needs to remember what they are, they need to know why they're important, and they need to be able to measure them so that they can say, yes, we've achieved it, or no, we haven't achieved it. That is a powerful strategy. Your purpose is your why, and your strategy is your how. Finally, you need to figure out the way to get results, and that is your culture. Culture is how you activate your why and your how. When intentionally creating culture, we identify the results we're trying to achieve. We've just done that. That's your strategic goals. That's the measurable, meaningful, and memorable results that you are trying to achieve. Culture is the experiences we have which drive our beliefs. Those beliefs determine the actions we take, and those actions get us results. Well, we know what results we're trying to achieve now because we've just created our strategy. Now we need to reverse engineer that model to figure out the beliefs we need to hold and the experiences we can create to get there. So you identify the goals you have, which is the results. Then you ask the question, how would we need to behave in order to achieve those results? By asking that question, you can come up with a list of behaviors that you want to encourage. Now comes the tricky part. Ask your team, what beliefs would we need to hold, broadly held beliefs that we could share that would allow us, that would motivate us to behave in that way that we need to behave? Once you identify your cultural beliefs, you can ask the question, what experiences do we need to co-create in order to shape those beliefs? Those experiences can come in the form of feedback, of storytelling, of recognition, and in countless other ways. Knowing what those experiences need to be allows you to create an intentional culture that will drive the cultural beliefs you want, that will determine the actions that people take, and then will get you the results that you want in that strategy. Hopefully you can see how culture and strategy are inexorably tied. You can't have one without the other. And if you want more information on how to create a culture that is aligned with your strategy, then click on the link below in the description or go to gift.culture.io. One of the things we have for you is a playbook that gives you the step-by-step instructions on how to create your strategy and activate your culture to achieve those results.